large caramel macchiato with an extra shot and whipped cream, please.
Coming up.
Wait, hold on. How much is that?
$4.85.
Okay, better drop the extra shot. What does that make it?
$4.20.
Better make it a small. What does that make it?
$3.30.
Better drop the whipped cream. What does that make it?
Less calories.
Oh my God, and he flew all the way to New York to tell me that. That is so romantic.
It's beautiful, really.
You're not even allowed to leave the state.
What's that now?
It's the Al Travis Show, and I've got him. My buddy Paul. It's Minnesota Sports Life for Paulie. We can do this one of a couple of ways, Paul, and you've always been there for me. I believe in the last half hour I said a really sexist thing, but it's not because I think it's sexist and or that I'm wrong. I just don't say things very well, and maybe you can clean it up for me. Can we discuss?
Oh, okay.
Okay,
we'll
thanks for
put
being
the
here,
sports on the shelf for a second.
It's a sports racist thing, sexist thing. It's sports sexist, so it's kind of a sports-related deal.
Okay.
You may be caught or not. Aces, Asia Wilson, I might get her pronunciation wrong, and Link's Alana Smith, which I may also be pronouncing that wrong, co-won the Defensive Player of the Year award yesterday. I said they've got to fix that because it waters things down. At some point, it's going to be, we're going to have a threesome that got it. No, this whole team was so good at defense, we're going to give it all to them. And I likened it to the guys on the last half hour, and I said, we've kind of cleaned that up in men's sports because, like, you get most valuable player should have been Jokic, but he won it 3 out of 4 years. I don't even care, and we gives us stuff to talk about because they're wrong sometimes. But if co-defensive players of the year, pardon the French, man up, decide, and give it to one or the other one come in second place, and that's fine. Am I wrong here? They need, for the women's basketball, just do it. Pick one, and yeah, maybe our gal didn't get it. Fair enough.
Well, yeah, for the most part, in any sport, it's kind of agnostic to, like, is whether it's this league or that league or a men's sport or a women's sport. You really should pick one. And sometimes, if you have, like, very even, like, individual stats, sometimes the team accomplishments, kind of weigh it over, right? Like how important were you to the team? MVP is more about that one, but
it's very hard to get the MVP
and decide. Yeah.
It's very hard to win the MVP in basketball if your team sucks. You might have all the numbers in the world, but you can't win it because your team never got anywhere. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So, the guy said, and this is so funny because Dan comes out and he goes looking during the commercial break, he had to bring up some baseball couple from 1979. I mean, I get that it can happen. It shouldn't happen. I think it waters it down. I think guys like you and I don't know enough about Asia or Alana to have an argument with you, but let's say they picked the other gal. And then we look at the stats, and you and I could have a conversation and say they gave it to the wrong one. At least it's something interesting. The fact, and here's what, they have an even number of people who vote on it, Paul. You kind of set yourself up for failure.
Oh my gosh. That's
70.
That's the fix.
Not hard.
One more vote somewhere. And you can't be on the fence. You got to pick one or the other. Yeah. No,
okay. So
that's just kind of weird. I have a bigger problem with, because I'm a baseball nerd, is that you have the MVP, and then in baseball you also have the Cy Young, which is just a pitcher's award. There have been pitchers who have won the MVP. What are you doing? What's a hitter supposed to do when the pitchers have their own categories? And there have been a couple of cases where Verlander did it, and I think Willie Hernandez back in the day. Mm-hmm. A pitcher won the most valuable player. Never mind. Somebody else hit 39 homers, or somebody else led their team down the stretch. With the 400 batting average. But I have a bigger problem with that than anything.
And how good do you have to be to only pitch? You're only in one in every 5 games. Was he so that's your best player? No, but that gives you and I, guys like us, get something to talk about that way. It's wrong. Yeah. You're absolutely correct. They should have an MVP and a pitcher Cy Young award. I have no problem.
I'm not enraged about any of it. It's like, whatever.
Talking points.
Talking points. That's all it is.
Well, I looked at it and said, how in the world co-defensive players? They must have blocking stats, steals stats, and all the rest of that. You can go by and say, what are you using? Whose team's better? There's an even number of people voting.
Yeah. I think you solve that by fixing that process, and then you don't have
Do I actually have to run everything, Paul? That's what I want to know. Do I have to run everything? Because I'm kind of busy.
The world. Look. Sign me up for that.
That sounds like sarcasm, Paul. All right. Enough of them, Mark. We will say, by the way, the Lynx, who are playing fantastic, are into the second round in the semifinals, and that's all great. And I think these are now 5-game series. The first round was just 2. You win 2 and go. So more basketball to come by the ladies, and they're doing fine. And congratulations.
Real quick with that, they are on a mission. I mean, the only winning team the state has got right now is the Minnesota Lynx in terms of major league sports with lots of TV exposure. They're on a mission. They want to get back at New York, and they want to get back to the finals and win it. And Collier's back. I haven't paid a ton of attention to Lynx basketball, but the comeback they had in that game 2, and they are absolutely on a mission to get back at New York for that, eked out loss in the last game in New York.
That was a ref loss. They stole it from us. No, I did.
Yeah. Well, I think they feel it, and that's so. That's fun.
Let's
with nothing
do this.
else to cheer. That we got to hitch our ride on that because that's what's.
Well,
going
and you're 100% correct. And let's just go down this road a little bit. Sexist comments. Here we come. Evidently, the papers and the news organizations don't send sports guys off to the ladies' basketball playoffs like they would do with our men's basketball team or the baseball team, or that. We don't have a cadre of news folks going off. There's one guy for the paper that I know keeps up on them. Why do they not, Paul? Is it because we're all sexist and we don't keep up on ladies' sports, or is it they don't do it and so we can't keep up on ladies' sports?
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of a chicken egg question, but and it also gets to budgetary considerations, like who's going to fund the travel and all of that to go and cover. And it's also different. Your ABC affiliate, would be more inclined to do it because ESPN carries the games, right? And so they've got a vested interest in getting more people into it. Yeah. So you've got some vested interest in that. The big four, have always been the big four leagues. The WNBA is trying to crack that and get in that conversation, but. To me, it's follow the money. If you get enough people watching and enough people, with your ratings, and you've got advertisers spending that amount of money, then they'll pay more attention. I haven't seen like the ratings numbers, but they don't match what the NFL does. They don't match what NBA does. So it's mostly a money thing. I don't think it's.
I think it's a Caitlin Clark conspiracy. When that girl was playing basketball, my mom would go out of her way to find it on the cable thing and watch Caitlin Clark. So, Mom, when did you start watching ladies basketball? Went a little in Indiana. And she goes, no, Caitlin. She's just in love with her. And that you saw everything spike. I saw her on the sidelines the other day in the game. They won their game, by the way. She looks pretty healthy. She's jumping around, clapping her hands. I don't know what's wrong with her. Conspiracy theory, but she's tanking the WNBA. She gets in these games, it'd be monstrous.
It's not a conspiracy theory. You don't know what she's going through. You don't. I mean,
she was jumping up and down and clapping on the bench. It wasn't like she had back
problems. Therefore, she can play at the highest level in women's sports. Oh
that's
my
why
gosh.
That's why it's a conspiracy theory, Paul. Because no one agrees with me.
Yeah. Well. Oh my Lord! This is melting down so fast. You of all people know about mental health issues that you can't necessarily see, right? You can't necessarily see it, but get on the court, I got no time for that. No time.
Hitting below the belt, Paul. Hitting below the belt is not good. All right. One more crazy thing. More conspiracy theory for you. I thoroughly believe Kaprizov from the Wild does not want to play for the Wild. And here's my evidence, Paul.
Okay.
He turned down the largest contract in NHL history he didn't sign it with the Wild. He said, let my agents deal with that little stuff. The largest contract ever. You don't want to play.
I think it's more about the term because I don't think he wants to be locked into a team that can't, it is not guaranteed to be a Stanley Cup contender. So if he's going to lock up an 8-year, it was about, an 8-year deal.
8 year. Yeah.
And, these are his prime performing years. He's all of, late 20s. This is his chance to get to a winner. And if he doesn't feel fully confident that the Wild is going to, put around him what they need to do to win a Stanley Cup, then he's not sure he wants to stay for that amount of time. Right. So I don't think it's necessarily just about it was the richest contract, in terms of dollars.
Mhm.
But maybe what the answer is that, if Bill Guerin can't guarantee we'll be competing for a cup very soon, get him to sign a 3-4 year deal, and then you get his better, younger years, and then he's got an opportunity to go somewhere else if it doesn't pan out. But
Well, let's do
I
this.
don't know that he would say he doesn't want to be here. I think he
wants to win.
He wants to guarantee a chance to win.
And there's nothing wrong with that, except if you look at the other side of the coin. So you offer a guy the most money anyone's ever made out of an organization to play for me. You then limit what they can spend to have
Right.
people around you.
That
And it's
actually, right. And that is counterintuitive because there's guys who have taken less money so that they can get other parts, right? And
There you
build that winner. I don't know. I don't know. And who knows? You get these agents involved and
yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Paul. If you get to $125 million, is 130 really the difference maker? You know what I'm saying? It's just, what is the number? It's such unbelievable money. And I'm just like, if you're serious, then take the 125, leave the other $5 million on the table so they can hire somebody. I just can't even fathom what the difference between 125 and 130 is.
yeah, I don't know either. And he's probably a top 10, maybe top 5 player, but he's not top. He's not Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Or some of the other play. Who's the guy? I forget, for the Avalanche, Makar and
Right.
McKinnon. But yeah. And I don't know.
Right.
But you know what? You lose him. I mean, he's our star power. I mean, we've
Oh,
got
yeah.
other guys who are good supporting players, but we don't have that go-to guy that the other team has to pay attention to. So,
All right. We got to go to break. Another conspiracy theory down. We're going to talk your Minnesota Vikings. Your Gophers.
No more conspiracies, please.
They're so much fun. We'll talk after this.
When the stakes are high at the Minnesota Capitol, you need more than a lobbyist. You need a partner. At Momentum Advocacy, we bring nearly 90 years of combined experience in government relations, public affairs, and strategic communications. From nonprofits to national corporations, we help organizations navigate Minnesota's political landscape with integrity, insight, and results. Whether you need legislative champions or headlines, Momentum Advocacy delivers. For more, visit momentum-advocacy.com. Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol.
Dust from livestock buildings can be harmful to your animals and to you. Coughing animals can lead to costly vet visits and other serious health problems. Now there's an environmentally safe solution for your dust problems. It's called DustLock. DustLock can control the dust all summer long with just one application. Protect your animals and your health with DustLock. Learn more at dustlock.com.
kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS Show.
And I think Paul thought the last segment was going to be if he watched this one. We got to talk your Minnesota Vikings, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's go down the list. Green Bay plays at Cleveland. The sports fanatics are giving Green Bay 7.5 points for the win.
Yeah.
There's not much there in Cleveland. I think this is a win for Green Bay, right? They go on.
Yeah. I'd take them to cover. Green Bay's playing really well.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but you're correct. Then I moved down the list. Chicago is at home against Dallas. Now, I watched the end of that Dallas game the other day. I thought they were playing pretty sharp, got themselves for a win. Chicago looked like crap. But
Detroit took their frustration out on the Bears last week. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Dallas is up by 1.5. That's at Chicago. I think it's going to be bigger than that. I don't know. Unless I didn't see something right with Dallas. I like Dallas big time here.
Yeah, just when you think I would take the Bears on this because sometimes in the NFL, who's the more desperate team? I think the Bears at 0-2. This quarterback still got a lot to prove. New coach. I think the Bears at home. I'll take the Bears on that one. I think they take care of the Cowboys, maybe by a field goal at the end.
I love the idea your back's against the wall in week 3. You know what I'm saying? It gets away so fast in this division.
That's right. But I think they feel like they probably feel like they had the Vikings where they wanted them in week 1. Yep. Laid an egg week 2. Yeah. I'd take Caleb to find a way. Caleb Williams.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll talk about that next week. Detroit is going to Baltimore on Monday night. They've got Baltimore winning by 4.5. They're at home, so a little more than the field goal. Baltimore's a good team, but I'll tell you, I thought Detroit looked fantastic. Well, it's against Chicago laying the egg. Maybe I'm not seeing something straight. I think Detroit can give them a run. Maybe they'll win. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd take Detroit to stay closer than that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree. I'm with you.
They think it's going to score fest. 53.5 is the over and under. Now, the one that matters, the Minnesota Vikings will be hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. They are saying Minnesota by 2.5, but you get 3 for being at home. So I think they're really thinking no one has a clue.
No, and it's it's Jake Browning against Carson Wentz. Who knows, right? But Browning, he led them on the winning drive last week when Burrow was down. So and frankly, we don't play well against the Cincinnati. Over the years, even when we've had really good teams, Cincinnati finds a way to beat us. I think we lose this.
Paul, this is why I didn't want to get into the controversy. Really, you're going to not pick the
not a controversy. You want to know an opinion.
I don't really. I want it to be my opinion.
No, I told you 8-9 is what this team can hope for with the rookie quarterback and now injured rookie quarterback. So, but some good signs though. Dallas Turner showed up, and we needed that. We need some edge rushers to make some noise. That can change everything. A strip sack.
They're thinking Hawkinson will be back as well. That'll help. Yeah.
Yeah. That hopefully that will help. I think we got to run the ball. We're going to have to run. Without Aaron Jones. So, and they picked up Cam Akers again, as another backup. So
is Cam Akers, I'm sorry for this, Cam Akers was like that one gal in high school that if the first 2 didn't take you to prom, then you'd ask her again.
It's like backup to the backup plan. I am going to prom somehow.
I'm going to find somebody, Dan. Sorry, Mr. Akers. I don't know you very well. That's just so sad. All right. Paul, you're crushing me. Thanks for being on, Paul. Let's do it again next week, huh?
All right, sounds good.
Paul, Minnesota sports lifer on the Al Travis Show.
If it's your turn to host